Hey guys, Mopar Man back with a not so Mopar project. So, working on my co-worker's son's S-10 independent front suspension. We're doing the whole front suspension, shocks, upper control arms, lower control arms, everything. Honestly, this is my first time working with torsion bars, so I'm quite not sure, but you can see I got a good portion of it apart. Now, mind you, this truck was parked on the grass, lawn, whatever you call it, a lot, so it really got rusty. But I also don't know who he purchased it from, so the rust was pre-existing to this, but parking it on the lawn or grass makes it worse. Just because the moisture from the ground up starts to corrode and rot the metal away. So it's been a fight. A big fight to get all these suspension components off. The first thing I removed was the outer tie rod. As you can see, the inner tie rod is still there. I was able to get the spindle off because on this truck I had done a wheel bearing on this side, and so the spindle came off easy, and I've hung it there because it has a wheel speed sensor. I've hung the brake cable there. The piece of metal right here on this brake cable, having a tough time removing it. I don't want to cut it just because it's the cable, and I don't want to attempt to remove the actual brake line because I just don't know if it's going to go back together or even if it's going to come apart. I'm just trying to touch as little as possible. The shock came out easy. Now we're working on removing the lower control arm. I did remove the upper control arm, and I was trying to get a video of it, but I was in a little bit of a rush when I did it. So essentially what happened is the bolt on, and I want to point it out, the bolt on this side, I was able to break it loose and it came out. The bolt on the other side, well, that's a different story. That was seized into the bushing, and I couldn't get it out. So I ended up taking a 7-inch cutoff wheel and I cut this side off. The unfortunate part is because of the way the control arm is built, I couldn't cut, I couldn't reach with the wheel this side. So I busted out my 40 amp plasma cutter and I sliced the control arm to a degree, sliced it, was able to get the chunk of it out, and then used the cutoff wheel to slice the rest of the bolt through, and then I was able to remove that. That was the fun part. I'm pretty sure I'll be experiencing it on the driver's side, so I will have video of this. We're gonna remove the lower control arm, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna attempt to remove it. So right now I'm working on the outside bolt here, right here. And in order to access the nut on this side, you have to remove the sway bar completely. Now mind you, the sway bar on this was missing its top nuts on both sides. And with the rust was holding the metal and the rod and the bolt and all, so it actually didn't fall out, which is surprising. So using a cutoff wheel, cut it, removed it all out of the way. So I dropped the whole sway bar. It's a 24 on the nut, and I believe it'll probably be a 20. No, looks like a 22 maybe on the bolt side. But I'm gonna first try to spin the nut and see what happens with my 1/2 inch. I've been using an impact for a lot of this because it's just so rusty. I sprayed this last night with PB Blast, so I'm hoping that helped. And what I'll do is I'll coat the other side tonight, and then tomorrow hopefully I'll be able to get a video for you guys removing the other side and taking it apart. Now what I did for the torsion bar is I crawled underneath the truck and I completely loosened the bolt that puts pressure on the torsion keyway that is on the torsion bar. I've loosened that all the way down to the point where it's almost out, but I've left it sort of in. So there's no tension on the torsion bar at all. Now what I'm hoping is that'll give me, if I remove these bolts, I'm hoping I can pry out a little bit this way, and I'll be able to just slide the arm right off of this torsion bar. I was watching one YouTube video where the guy was talking about that he loosened the torsion bar and just slid the thing off. But unfortunately, he didn't show all that. So I'm here to try to do a better video and, you know, see if I can make that happen. So I'm gonna drop you guys right here, face down. I know you can't really see anything, but you'll get the gist of it. You'll be able to see what I'm doing. Or maybe when this is all said and done, I'll build a rolling stand for you guys. That way, I can get you up close and personal without sacrificing video quality. So. Okay, that bolt is spinning loose, so I have my breaker bar, and I'm gonna try to put a. Let me see if it's a. What is it? Oh no! It's not a 19. What's this one here? This is a 20. I'm sorry. The nut is a 22. This is a 24 socket, so it's not a 24. Got a 22 socket and a 20 and a 21. What is this one? Is it 24? It is a 22. I have two 22 sockets actually. So. Okay, we're on. 22 is a bit loose. 21. Okay, 21 is the money. 21 is the key. Blackjack. Alright. For once there's a bolt not seized somewhere. Fix this. That's why I couldn't get it on there. Because this is a 23. Let me double check that. You know what? Maybe it's just this side, because where was it? I really wanted to be sure. Yeah. Well, I got lucky that the 23 grabbed this. It's not a 23. It's, let's see. This is a 22. It's a 22. So it's a 22 and 21. That's how that works. All right. There you go. The 22, 21 for those lower control arm bolts. Alright, that's on. And, here it is in the lap, and I'm looking all over the place. This swivel's got a locking mechanism so you don't lose the socket. I'll double check that. Yep, 21. goes. Let's drop on the lower control arm. You know what? Let me see something. Hold on. I realized I do have a 21 short swivel, so that might help me a little bit more. You can see it firsthand. It's gonna just slide right off. Pull this out a little bit. You gotta watch this side, right? But you have to clear this cross member here. And then you gotta shake it and not hit your shin. That hurt. Alright. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. It is apart. What is this? This tie rod is looking pretty good. I am not gonna replace that. There's no need for that. Voila. It's out. Okay? Loosen this. Now you got play. See this? You got play here. When you loosen the torsion, when you loosen the bolt on the torsion keyway and just get it completely loose to where it's almost out, you got play. You pull the control arm out, shimmy it off. Alright? Now I'll shimmy the new one on, put it on, and I'll button it up in reverse. Ow, that like really hurt with the shin. I feel it. I'm pretty sure I got a cut. Either it's a cut or it's a scrape that feels like a cut. So I'm going to coat the driver's side in PB Blast, and I'm gonna then come back at it tomorrow. So I'm gonna really soak it in some PB Blast to let it sit overnight, and that'll be my best friend. And then I can come back at it tomorrow and start zipping things off and taking things apart, and you'll be here for that. So in case any bolts get stuck, you get to see me use my my 40 amp plasma cutter. All right. So it's my stopping point.